Hey everybody, Brian from pnbhomesteading.com. I thought I'd take you and show you what Paula and I are going to be doing this weekend. Kind of walk you out here. This weekend we went down to the local quarry and picked up some large round stones. We're going to be using these around our garden plants this year. You see it's starting to rain on me here. I've got to back up a little bit, get under the eave. We're going to be putting these around all of our tomato plants, around their base of their feet, so that way they're going to have a little bit extra warmth when the sun does come out, because we've been having a really cold spring so far. We're about 8 to 10 degrees below normal for right now. So we went down there and went to the quarry and picked out a bunch of these larger round river rock to put around our tomato plants. So we're going to help them radiate heat after the sun goes down and keep their feet warm, because tomato plants like to have their feet, or their roots, I like to call them their feet, keep them a little bit warmer, because they're a warmer season plant. So I'll check back in with you and I'll show you guys what it's going to look like when I go out and lay these out in the backyard, where I'm going to put these around where the tomato plants will be planted. Alright, talk to you guys in a little bit. Hey everybody, back after a few minutes here. And this is Brian from pnbhomesteading.com. We've, I've unloaded the rocks and placed them in the backyard garden boxes. So I thought I'd kind of give you a little presentation on how I've laid this out. Back behind me you can see the little hoop houses and how I have them laid out. So let me go ahead and take the camera and turn it around so that way you guys can see the rocks and how I've had them laid out besides my face. Okay, so this is how we've got them laid out. I've put them in, kind of the positions where I'm actually going to have the tomato plants this year, and I put some around the edge. So I'm going to use this to kind of heat up the areas and keep this greenhouse warm at night, because it's been getting down, as I mentioned in the first part of this clip, it's getting down, 8 to 10 degrees below normal at night and during the day for the most part. So I wanted to try to see if I can keep these greenhouses a little bit warmer at night, because they're dipping down just below 50 degrees, and that's a little cold, for putting the tomato plants out, because I don't want to stunt their root growth or put them, back any in their production. So that's kind of the hoop houses. Let's go over here and I'll show you the regular garden boxes. And you can see I've got them kind of laid out there, and the areas that don't have any rocks are going to be placed where I'm going to put squash plants. So I'll be doing like pumpkins, Waltham butternut squash, that type of stuff in those areas. And then I'll also have my gray griller squash. This is going to be a tomato bed here. So pretty much everything this year is going to be tomatoes and squash. So we're not going to have any kind of, peppers or eggplants, because these next 2 years are supposedly, according to the Old Farmer's Almanac, going to be a little bit colder than normal. And you can see there's my little dandelions. I leave that one there growing, and we take the dandelion leaves. We actually eat those. Paula makes this, she barbecues them on our barbecue and puts a little sea salt on them. And some, not olive oil, because olive oil burns, on a barbecue, but I can't remember which oil she uses. But it tastes really good. Here's a shot of the potato boxes. There's nothing coming up in them yet. I'm going to take you up to the upper yard, so that way you can see the layout for the upper garden boxes, and it gives you a good... Okay, so here's the long garden box by the fence. I've kind of laid those out in an odd, even, forward back layout. That's going to keep that box a little warmer. And each one of those in the dip is going to be where a tomato plant goes. And see, I have the rings there for the drip watering. So we're going to have a mass planting of tomatoes in there, as well as here's the upper box. And I kind of put some in the middle. So this should help these this year, because I've never done this. I wanted to see if it actually increases their growth early on in the cold season, because you can tell by our profile of our yard. You can see there's the sun, and it's 3 o'clock, and it's just barely over the tree line. So we get usually maybe in the hot heat of the summer, the highest of the solstice, sun exposure, we get maybe 6 hours of good sun on this yard. So here's a back shot of this. So here's kind of like with the sun, back here, this is where the sun would hit these rocks, and then it's really going to heat those up during the day. And then at night it should radiate the heat down into the soil and around the plant to keep it just a little bit warmer. So I'm going to see if that'll work this year. And if it does, you know, I've read that, you know, people have been doing this for centuries in colder climates, especially like over in England and in the European countries. They used to do this. And also I think the Native Americans had a technique of doing this with their Three Sisters garden, where they would pile rocks around their plants to help keep them a little bit warmer. And hopefully this will do just that. Alright, well, that's all for right now, so I guess I'll turn this around and say goodbye. Alright guys, I'll talk to you in a little bit, maybe tomorrow. Alright.